Hello. Thank you for viewing this webinar from the Employment Development Department about navigating the unemployment insurance program during challenging times. This webinar is being recorded on the afternoon of Friday, April 24th, 2020. The current health emergency and resulting economic impacts are dynamic and information can change quickly. For the latest information about EDD's UI program, please visit www.edd.ca.gov/about_EDD/coronavirus-2019. Again, the EDD website with the latest information for California workers and employers is www.edd.ca.gov/about_EDD/coronavirus-2019. Thank you. And now I'm going to turn it over to Ken from our communications team. Take it away, Ken.
Thank you, Scott. Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar on the Unemployment Insurance Program, also known as UI, and the Federal CARES Act. As many of you may have heard in the news, the EDD has filed almost 3 million new claims and paid over $3 billion in benefits since March 14th as a result of the coronavirus pandemic. As you can imagine, this put a tremendous strain on the nation's economy and the UI programs in all 50 states. While the EDD has been planning for another recession for many years, this downturn in the economy was swift and sudden, unlike the Great Recession, which began in 2008 and evolved over time. Fortunately, the EDD took the time between now and the Great Recession to provide for more efficient service delivery through new and innovative automation and a comprehensive array of self-service tools for our UI customers. So let's take a look at some of the other steps the EDD has taken to address the historic levels of claims. We've expanded our call center hours from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. every day of the week. To accomplish this, we had to hire and train new staff, reassign managers and support staff to assist with claim follow-up work, and borrow hundreds of staff from other EDD branches and state agencies. We've also worked hard to upgrade our UI systems and servers, and to ensure they're running in tip-top shape, we perform hourly health checks for uninterrupted service. Just last week, we opened the new UI Online Assistance Center to help our customers with registration, password resets, navigation, and online claim filing. So now let's learn a little bit more about the CARES Act. Next slide, please. I'm going to provide you with a brief overview of the CARES Act, and we'll go into this in greater detail later in this presentation. The Federal CARES Act provides additional UI benefits to claimants as follows. The Federal Pandemic Unemployment Compensation, also referred to as Pandemic Additional Compensation here in California, provides a $600 a week stimulus payment in addition to your weekly benefit amount. We also have a new program called Pandemic Unemployment Assistance, and this is designed for those customers who don't usually qualify for regular UI benefits, such as business owners, the self-employed, and independent contractors. And lastly, the Pandemic Emergency Unemployment Compensation provides up to 13 weeks of extended benefits. Now I'd like to turn this over to Nadia from the Unemployment Insurance
I would like
branch.
to begin with the slide that covers the Pandemic Additional Compensation. This is a new $600 per week stimulus payment that will be automatically added to your weekly benefit amount each week if you qualify for $1 or more in benefits. This Pandemic Additional Compensation, or PAC, is applicable to almost all UI compensations, including work-sharing claims and Pandemic Emergency Unemployment Compensation, or extension PEUC. The PAC, or Pandemic Additional Compensation, does not apply to training extensions or state special school benefits, also known as SSSB. PAC applies only between March 29th of 2020 and July 25, 2020. If you were already paid for the week ending April 4th, the Employment Development Department made an adjustment payment of $600 during the week of April 10th, 2020. Next slide, please. Pandemic Unemployment Assistance is the new program, as Ken had briefly provided that to you, and it is available to the customers that are not usually eligible for regular UI or extended UI benefits. Those qualified customers are business owners, self-employed individuals, and independent contractors, claimants that will with a regular UI claim who have exhausted their benefits, individuals with a limited work history or who could not begin a new job due to the COVID-19 situation. It provides up to 39 weeks of benefits with no waiting period. The dates for the pandemic unemployment assistance begin with February 2nd of 2020, and it will end on December 26th of 2020. The $600 stimulus pay, also known as PAC, that I was explaining on the slide before, is eligible for the claimants that qualify for Pandemic Unemployment Assistance Program. The only applications that will be accepted begin April 28, 2020. We may also file those applications by phone, and they will be filed online. Claims employment assistance will be eligible for the claims retroactively when they became directly impacted by COVID-19. Claims cannot begin earlier than February 2nd of 2020. The weekly benefit amount range for pandemic unemployment assistance is between $167 to $450, with the initial payment starting at $167. Just a quick side note: Governor Newsom announced that the EDD is working around the clock with the state partners to build the new pandemic unemployment assistance program, and it will expected to be launched on April 28th of 2020. Next slide, please. The Pandemic Unemployment Assistance eligibility, the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance Program is provided to those who are placed on unemployment and whose employment is closed due to the direct result of COVID-19. Those people that are unable to work because of a healthcare provider who advised them to stay self-quarantined, the members of a household who has been diagnosed with COVID-19. If you're providing care for a family member or a member of your household who has been diagnosed with COVID-19, if you have a child or other person in your household for whom you have primary caregiving responsibility and who is unable to attend school or another facility that is closed as a direct result of COVID-19, and their care is required for you, their care is required for you to work. You have to quit your job as a direct result of COVID-19. And you were scheduled to start a job that is not available due to COVID-19. You're unable to reach for a place of employment due to COVID-19. Next slide, please. The Pandemic Emergency Unemployment Compensation, or PEUC, it is an extension that provides additional 13 weeks of unemployment insurance benefits when all of the benefits associated with regular UI claims are exhausted. It applies only between March 29, 2020 and December 26, 2020. In California, regular UI benefits are up to 26 weeks within a 1-year time frame. The EDD is working to get this extension operational just as soon as possible. Workers are encouraged to monitor EDD's website to continue for continuing updates. Additional state and federal extensions may become available at a later time if authorized by California and/or federal government. Next slide, please. So you might be asking, what is the right claim for me? So all employees that have been unemployed and have employment and have wages within their past employment can file for a regular UI claim. If you have a current claim, have run out of benefits on or after March 28, 2020, and the claim is less than 1 year old, monitor the EDD's website for continuing updates on the PEUC extension, which will include instructions about what actions you will be required to take to apply for that extensions. If the claim is over 1 year old, file a new regular claim. If you feel that you have been misclassified as an independent contractor, then you should file a regular claim. And this is to the point for the customers that are business owners or self-employed, independent contractors, and gig workers. You will be able to indicate if you have no employment wages, for example, you did not receive a W-2, solely for the purposes of applying for the PUA program. However, we ask you to file a regular claim if you believe that you were misclassified and have wages from the employer. Next slide, please. Additionally, for gig workers, if you work in a gig economy and you consider yourself to be an employee, but you have been classified as a self-employed or an independent contractor, for example, you received a 1099 instead of a W-2, then we do ask you to file a regular UI claim. We do ask you to respond to all of the information from the EDD. We do ask you to wait for the results of the EDD's investigation to determine your classification. And if you're not eligible for regular UI claims, we do ask you to apply for a PUA. And just to emphasize a little bit on this slide, if you are self-employed, an independent contractor, or a gig worker, and you're unable to work or have had your hours reduced to the COVID-19 situation, you may be eligible for unemployment insurance benefits under a few different scenarios. So, for instance, if you choose to contribute to UI elective coverage and paid the required contributions to be considered potentially eligible for benefits. If your past employer made contributions on your behalf over the past 5 to 18 months, or you may have been misclassified as an independent contractor instead of an employee. In those 3 scenarios, you might potentially be eligible for unemployment insurance claim. When you file for your UI claim, you will be asked for your last employer. If you own business or are self-employed, you should list yourself as your last employer. If you are an independent contractor, you should list yourself as your last employer. If you believe you are misclassified as an independent contractor instead of the employee, you should list the business you contract with as your last employer. And be sure to indicate the employer's name, phone number, and address, type of work that you had performed, dates worked, your gross wages, and how you were paid, such as hourly or weekly. Next slide, please. In addition to the unemployment insurance, there are other state programs that you might be qualified for. We ask you to consider state disability insurance. The California State Disability Insurance, or SDI program, provides short-term disability insurance, DI, and paid family leave, PFL, wage replacement benefits for eligible workers who need time off work. Disability is a claim where you may be eligible for DI if you are unable to work due to a non-work-related illness or injury, pregnancy, or childbirth. Paid family leave, or PFL, is a program where you may be eligible for PFL to care for serious.
Thank you, Nadia. This is Gerald from the Unemployment Insurance Branch also. Now, the next few slides will talk about the unemployment insurance benefits and what customers should expect. We'll talk about a high-level overview of the UI program, including additional special provisions due to the recent pandemic or to the current pandemic, the COVID-19. We'll talk about how to file a claim. We'll also touch on, after a claim is filed, what do you do? What do claimants expect to do? Or what are claimants expect to do? And how to certify for benefits. We also have a special provision that we will touch on later on in the slides about this certifying for benefits when an individual is on unemployment insurance. And finally, we'll talk about how individuals receive the benefits via the debit card system. Next slide, please. Unemployment insurance is a partial income replacement for employees who have lost their jobs or have had their hours reduced through no fault of their own. Claimants must be able, available, and actively looking for work. If you notice, there's an asterisk on that slide, and it's because of the pandemic, we have special provisions that have waived certain requirements for unemployment insurance or for individuals to receive unemployment. Unemployment insurance in California is funded solely by employers. It's no cost to employees. Other states within the United States, there are 2 states where unemployment insurance is also paid by employees. But in California, it's 100% funded by your employers. The weekly benefit amount ranges from $40 to $450 per week on the earnings. With the special provision that was passed on under the CARES Act, there's a potential, as we have already mentioned, an additional $600 on top of the weekly benefit amount. Next slide, please. So the COVID-19 pandemic special provisions. Generally with unemployment insurance, the first week that you would otherwise qualify for benefits is not payable at all. It is what we generally refer to as the waiting period. So individuals, when they become unemployed, they file a claim the first week, we don't pay them. However, because of the emergency situation, Governor Newsom declared an emergency proclamation and basically waived the waiting periods. So individuals now who are applying for benefits will not have to serve a waiting period. They will get paid right away on the very first week. The other special provision is because of the pandemic, the work search requirement is generally required, but is now currently waived because of this special situation. Additionally, as we previously mentioned, there's a $600 stimulus payment that applies, and I believe Nadia touched on this, between March 29th, 2020 and July 25th, 2020. There's that special stimulus payment of an additional $600 on the weekly benefit amount. And she also touched on the PEUC, which is an additional 13 weeks of benefits once an individual has exhausted all rights to their regular unemployment insurance. And generally with unemployment insurance, an individual qualifies for a maximum of up to 26 weeks. So that's an additional 13 weeks on top of the 26 weeks, which equates to about 39 weeks of benefits under the regular state unemployment and 13-week extension. Next slide, please. So unemployment insurance basics. File a claim. So generally, there are 3 ways for an individual to file a claim for unemployment insurance in the state of California. You can do it online, by phone, or by mail. The mail application is the slowest. You basically could download an application on paper form, fill it out, and then you can either fax it or mail. Because of the fact that it has to be mailed, so we ask you to allow for additional time for the mailing time. Now, that is a way to provide or apply for benefits. However, the fastest and most convenient way is UI Online. And that's what we encourage you to do, is if you have to file a claim, you have to do it on our UI Online. You can find it on the edd.ca.gov/UI_online. And again, that is the fastest way to file your claim. In the UI Online also, you have the ability to access this by opening or creating an account under the Benefit Programs Online Login. Now, in order for you to create an account, once you have filed a claim, you will receive a notification from the department regarding confirmation and what we call an EDD customer account number. That is necessary to be able to open an online account. There's also UI Online technical assistance that is available that Ken touched on. We recently stood a call center 7 days a week, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. to help with the registration on the UI Online, password resets, navigation, and filing a claim. Go ahead and go to the next page, please. Now, with the UI Online, I failed to mention also that there are videos available that could assist in opening up an account, filing an online account. So on the edd.ci.gov website, if you click on the search function and you just type in UI Online videos, it will show you some links, and you just click on that, and it will take you to the page that has the UI Online videos. And that is helpful when you're dealing or trying to file your claim using the UI Online. Now, the next few slides are the phone numbers that we have available, and this information is also available on our edd.ca.gov website. So this, the one that you see on your slide right now, is a general support line that we recently stood up. Again, it's open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and services are offered. If you need assistance under General Unemployment Insurance Program questions, if you need technical help, including registration, password resets, that EDD account number that we mentioned, and how to use UI Online. That number is 1-833-978-2511. It's important to note also that at this call center, representatives will not have access to your claim or overpayment information. So it's general assistance. Next slide, please. The next slide is basically the phone number for unemployment insurance when you need assistance, direct assistance regarding your unemployment insurance claim, whether it's claim filing or if you have questions regarding your outstanding questions regarding your specific claim issues. This is the English line is 1-800-300-5616. Spanish line is 1-800-326-8937, and as you can see, there are other languages available, including for the deaf and hard of hearing. Again, this phone number or this line is only open between 8 a.m. and 12 p.m. Monday through Friday, except state holidays. Next slide, please. The next slide is it's available 24/7, and this is basically how you certify for benefits. Benefit certification is necessary in order for you to receive unemployment insurance, but again, we will touch on a special provision that is waiving that certification process. But if you have to certify for benefits, you can do so online using the UI Online feature, or you can also call this automated self-service line. In English, it's 1-866-333-4606, and in Spanish, it's 1-866-333-4606. It's the same phone number. But services offered are for claim information, certification by phone, information on filing or reopening a claim, tax form 1099-G if you need a duplicate copy, for example, or information about that. It also has information about UI Online, America's Job Centers, and information on claims. Next slide, please. So, You file a claim. You've provided all the information. What comes next? So what comes after a claim is filed? We ask you to basically watch out in the mail or your email. You will receive important information from the EDD. It will show the confirmation that your claim was filed, how the weekly benefit amount was calculated or computed, and even the what we call the EDCAN, EDD customer account number. This is necessary for you to be able to create a UI online account where you can basically self-serve your UI online application and your UI account. Also, we need to make sure that once you receive the information in the mail, that you are able to verify the accuracy of the information. Once we file a claim, we send you information that says, this is all the information that you provided to us. You need to verify if this is correct. If there's some inaccuracies, for example, if there's missing wages, this document will allow you to basically double check that information and reach back to us to correct or supply that information that's inconsistent with what you have. We also ask that you continue to read, review, and respond to all communications from the department. Next slide. So there is a special provision, as I mentioned earlier, that in order for an individual to receive unemployment benefits, they have to certify every 2 weeks for us to issue payment. So the first step is you apply for benefits. Once you apply, every 2 weeks you have to certify. Because of the special COVID-19 pandemic circumstances, there's a special provision that temporarily suspends the benefit certification process. So it's only though for the weeks ending March 14th through May 9th, 2020. The department will be automatically paying individuals and no certification is needed for these weeks. So if you have to certify for weeks prior to week ending March 14th and after May 9th, the best way is to either certify online or you certify over the phone. Now, since we're paying these benefits automatically, there are circumstances where individuals may have returned to work or they are working part-time. There will be an additional topic that will be added to the Ask EDD functionality, and this is where claimants will have to report the employer and wage information. So the Ask EDD function is on the main EDD website, www.edd.ca.gov. Once you land on that web page, you scroll all the way down, and there's an Ask EDD button that you can click. Now, going back to if you have to certify prior to week ending March 14th and after May 9th, the best way, as I mentioned, is using the UI Online or Telecert. You can also do it by mail. However, we ask that for the mailing, you have to calculate the amount of time it takes for the post office to deliver that. So that may take a little bit, may have a little bit of delay. So again, we are encouraging everyone to do it either online or via the Telecert phone number 866-333-4606. Next slide. So once you file the claim, you either certify for benefits or we've automatically paid you during the time frame that I mentioned earlier. What happens next? So generally, when you file a claim, there is an option. You could either get paid by check or by the debit card. Now, if you don't choose the check, it will default to a debit card system. And actually, this is the best, most convenient way to get paid unemployment insurance. What I can tell you is that, for example, for a check, if every 2 weeks you certify and we pay you every 2 weeks, it will be slow because it has to be mailed using the post office, right? And with the debit card system, once the first benefit check is, once the first benefit is authorized, a debit card is sent to you, the claimant, immediately, and payments are loaded. And every 2 weeks, payments will be loaded into that debit card, as opposed to expecting a check every 2 weeks in the mail. It's automatically debited or added to your debit card system. So once the first payment is made, as I mentioned, the EDD debit card is mailed to the claimant. We ask you for the very first time, obviously for mail purposes, allow 5 days for the delivery from the Bank of America. The card is valid for 3 years from the date of issue, and it is also used by the DI and PFL aside from the UI benefits program. You need to contact Bank of America for a replacement, and you need to call them for customer service. Now you can get cash at ATMs or merchants with cash back options. The card can be used anywhere that has a Visa logo, anywhere a Visa is accepted. You can set up automatic transfers to any financial institutions. You can also set alerts whenever a deposit is made or when you have a low balance. Now, the dedicated Bank of America's customer service lines are, the phone number is 1-866-692-9374, or you can go to bankofamerica.com/EDD card. It's important to note that Bank of America branches cannot assist you with the debit card inquiries except for ATM and teller withdrawals. Bank of America representatives also cannot answer questions about your claim, your unemployment claim or DI or PFL claims, or any pending payments. Go ahead and move to the next slide, please. So, tips for filing a claim. We want to make sure that your claim filing goes smoothly without any hitch. Sometimes there will be, but these are tips that you could do to make sure to help assist you that it goes smoothly. First, we ask you that you gather all your employment information in the past 18 months. Unemployment insurance is based on your employment and wages in the past year and a half, so it is important that you have that information when you're filing a claim. The best way, as we mentioned before, is that you apply through the UI online. This is the fastest way of processing application. There is a save as draft feature on the UI online application. So, however, you have to complete it by Saturday, 8 p.m. because then it will reset in your application if you don't complete it. If you start it within the week, you have basically the 7 days to complete it. So if you don't complete it and submit it by 8 p.m. Saturday, that will basically wipe out the information. Then the next time you log on and you want to complete it, you'll have to basically start from scratch. Now, also it's important that to indicate that you are out of work due to COVID-19 so that the waiting period waiver is also credited. When selecting your industry and occupation, you need to select the best one that describes your job. Now, if you are out of work because of the COVID-19, do not indicate that you're out of work due to a strike or lockout unless it is the result of a labor dispute. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the work search requirement is currently waived due to the pandemic. Now, there are also YouTube videos, for example, how to apply for UI benefits that can help you before you even file a claim. You should watch that can help assist in trying to make this a smooth application process. The next slide, please. Tips to receive your benefits faster. The best way to certify for benefits, again, is using the UI Online or EDD Telecert. Again, there's a certain amount of weeks where the EDD is going to be processing automatically and you don't have to certify for benefits. However, after May 9th or before March 14th, if you would like to claim for benefits, you will still have to certify. Again, this is just a temporary suspension of the benefit certification between week ending March 14th and May 9th due to the pandemic. Other tips that we have for you to receive your benefits faster, you could set alerts through Bank of America to be notified when an EDD payment posts to your debit card. Read and respond promptly if requested to all EDD communications. You also need to be available for any phone interviews if there are any claim issues, if there's any determination scheduled. We ask that you always pay attention to the EDD communication because that will help move your claim forward. You can also access helpful web pages and educational videos on the EDD website. I've already touched on that. You go to the edd.ca.gov. Instead of trying to look for it, go to the search function, UI online videos. It will take you there basically. It will show you a link. We advise you to make sure that you are well informed regarding the EDD's COVID-19 directives by going to our edd.ca.gov. The specific web page is https://edd.ca.gov/about_coronavirus-2019-HTM. Now, if you go on the edd.ca.gov website, it's right in the middle. It just says COVID-19. You just actually click on the link and it will take you to the main page for coronavirus.